Hey guys, Ricardo here. Welcome to another blog tech tips. In today's tutorial guys, I'll be showing you how to repair a broken SIM card as seen here. As you can see here, this SIM card, just like this fully functional one, is broken. What that means is that the mechanism basically over time is made out of plastic, and the one over here has become broken. Alright, so we have two major breaks that separates it into two halves. And of course, because they keep making these things out of brittle plastic, after a year or so, it will become broken. Alright, so as you can see here, this one has snapped, and of course it's very hard to find a exact replacement, so sometimes your only option is to try to repair it. And as you can see here, it's very brittle, and here we even have a third break right along here, and of course it has snapped just where the SIM card should be, and the other section is for the memory card. So I'm going to show you what you can do. You need to get some form of super glue. Here I have crazy glue. Yours might be different. As long as it's a type of super adhesive, you should be good. You might also need a lighter or heat gun to basically heat up the plastic just a bit, not too much. So first of all, let's get the super glue or crazy glue here. And of course, as I said, it must be a extremely strong adhesive that is able to mend almost any type of material, especially plastic. And of course, here we have the super glue. So I'm just going to get a little dab. And of course, that's just enough to mend both halves of the plastic SIM tray. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is to find both ends, and we're going to carefully place a dab on the broken flat surface. So as you can see here, this surface is going to be coated with the compound. Once it's coated, what's going to happen is that we're going to basically Alright, so basically we're gonna go ahead, and once we have the glue on the surface, I'm just gonna secure the glue right here. And the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm just going to place both halves back together and make sure you have the correct orientation. Notice the writing is on this side matches the writing on this side over here. So I know the orientation is correct along with the grooves. Once you just carefully place this as flat as possible and as neatly as the original SIM card. Now it's a little bit tricky, and of course what you want to do is just carefully snap on both halves. As you can see here, both halves are connected properly. The super glue is doing its job. It has mended both halves almost perfectly together, so they are stuck back together and it's holding in place. You might make a mistake, but do not worry, you can always correct it. So in case you think it's not perfectly matched, you can always try to start over by separating both halves. And as you see here, I messed up just a bit, so let me try again. I might need some more glue, as I only get roughly one chance to glue both halves together. So let me just try again right here. So let me get some more glue. This time I'll be a little bit more liberal with the amount of glue that I'm going to use. So I'm just going to place this on once more, taking my time. I dab on the tips. And I'm going to put just a little excess just to get it just right. And of course, I'm just going to take my time. And of course, guys, again, if you can find a replacement SIM card, this will be much better. But as I said, sometimes SIM trays are very hard to match, and maybe you can't find the exact one. All right, so let's place this back together again, and we're going to snap both halves on, and I'm going to carefully and put them together again. So this time you should be able to get it just right. So let me just snap both halves together. All right, so I think I've gotten it just perfect. So let's just snap them together. All right, there we go. So I've gotten it much better this time. So both halves are glued together. The orientation is correct, and I think everything is okay this time. Notice it's holding, which is always a good sign. All right, so next I'm gonna just continue the gluing process. I'm gonna glue this section that has separated right here to the exact section where the SIM card will go. So I'm gonna do a similar job. I'm going to place on a liberal amount just to get the mending process going. Then I'm going to slide both halves together to make sure everything snaps together perfectly. All right, so let's go ahead again and snap both halves. As you can see here, it should be quite easy to glue them together. I'm going to secure the super glue. So I'm going to put this aside as well. And as you can see here, the SIM card is coming together quite nicely. And we have just glued both two major sections. So of course the SIM card itself should now hold almost perfectly together with the 2 hours. All right, so we're gonna allow this to dry. It does take a little time to dry, so you'll have to give this some time. All right, so we have come back after a quick break. So what we're gonna do now is, guys, we're gonna put some extra super glue around the section that we have mended. This way it forms a greater bond. So I basically dab it on the outside. What's gonna happen is that it's going to create a thicker bond around. Remember, this is very brittle, thin plastic. So by adding just a dab around the broken area, it will dry and create a thicker bond that will make it hold just a little bit more. This is just something I realized. So on the outside I've done that. It's very fine. So of course I have to be very careful. I don't want to apply too much pressure to all this to snap again, because again it's still brittle. All right, so we're just going to apply on the other side and just dab some right along here. And as you can see, guys, so far so good. We are able to place the entire thing back together. So I'm going to do down here that has stopped from earlier, and I'm just going to make sure that we get everything together right over here. All right, so I'm going to take my time, make sure both halves are mended properly, and just gonna secure this glue again, and we're gonna allow this to dry. Once it dries, guys, it should be able to do its thing properly, so in that way I'll be able to use this thing again. All right, so after you have applied enough glue, what you want to do again, guys, is to make sure that it dries. So I will give this about 15 to 20 minutes of dry time. And of course, you do not need to rush. As we said again, we need for the adhesive to fully dry. So of course, it will not snap so easily next time you place this back into the device. And as you can see already, guys, not a bad job. I suggest you apply some heat. I'm not going to show you the application of the heat section. Do not overdo it. A heat gun would work better. But if you have a lighter, you can actually use that just to slightly, not for long, just for a few seconds, to heat the area, so it kind of helps to get the glue into those areas that it didn't get to. Do not overdo it, as it will warp the plastic. So just a smidge of heat would just do that. So do not overdo it. All right, so once you have applied the heat on the mended sections, guys, just to get it heated up a bit, you can actually leave it as is. Also, if you are not confident in the application of heat, you don't have to apply heat, as the adhesive should hold it by itself. But I always like to just apply just a little heat, just to get the plastic flowing again, and of course to help to strengthen the bond just a little bit. And as you can see here, the seam tray fits into the groove, and of course that's always good to see once the seam tray gets into the groove. Now there's one more thing we're gonna do, guys, and sometimes you get to have some rough edges that didn't align just perfect. And of course in the seam tray, it allows only for very slight tolerances, so you'd have to actually get in here and file down these sections to make sure that they do not cause problems. So for that, you can get a nail file, which is just from a regular nail care set. And of course this slight sandpaper here can be used to rub those sections that you actually glued. Once you do that, what should happen is that it should rub off those excess bumps created from the gluing, or of course bumps created from the mending of both parts. And once you do that, guys, what's gonna happen is that you'll find that any little standoffs that's gonna cause the seam tray to jam should work. And after this, guys, you can simply slide your seam tray back into your device, and that's it. Alright, guys, so I'm gonna end the tutorial here. Ricardo Garner from Block Tech Tips. This is a quick tip showing you how to repair a seam tray. Ricardo Garner, same like next time. Bye.